Hey guys, and welcome to this new video. Today I would like to show you the most important features of Affinity Photo and how to find your way around the user interface very quickly. For this video I've tried to summarize as much information as possible in just a few minutes, so if you want to learn more about Affinity Photo in much more detail and longer videos, make sure to subscribe to this channel because I will upload a lot more videos about Affinity Photo in the future. Okay, but now let's get started. Affinity Photo has 5 different workspaces. In the upper left corner of Affinity you find a toolbar where you can easily switch between these environments, which are called personas. Depending on which workspace you are currently in, the user interface changes with different features for photo editing. Ultimately, you can think of Affinity Photo as a collection of 5 applications. But don't worry, you will probably rarely need most of the 5 workspaces, so I will only introduce the 2 most important workspaces in this video. One of the most important workspaces is the develop persona. It is basically a WAR developer. You get into this workspace automatically as soon as you open a WAR file with Affinity Photo. With the sliders on the right you can quickly and easily make adjustments for the entire photo, for example for contrast, saturation or brightness adjustments. You can also adjust certain areas of your image by using overlays. Simply select a suitable overlay tool in the toolbar on the left. Then you can edit this area by using the sliders on the right side. By going into the overlays panel on the right side, you can easily switch between different overlays and the whole image. When you are finished editing in the WAR converter, you can complete the whole process by clicking on Develop. You then automatically end up in Affinity Photo's most important workspace, the photo persona. While it was possible to make general adjustments in the workspace Develop persona, there were actually no limits for creativity in the photo persona. Using filters and adjustment layers, you can edit your project further or even make objects disappear in the image. Because of the huge number of possibilities, the user interface of the photo persona is also a little bit more complex than the user interface of the develop persona, where you could easily control everything directly using sliders. So now I will show you the most important editing options in this workspace. Various tools can be found on the left side. Here you can, for example, select brushes for painting, create text fields and shapes, change the crop of the image or simply remove certain picture objects as if by magic. Depending on which tool you select, the top menu bar also changes. You can then make different settings for this tool. Most of the tools can therefore be applied directly to your image relatively easy. You select a tool, make a few settings in the top menu if necessary, and simply paint directly over the image area where the effect of the tool should be applied. However, many tools only show their full potential in interaction with another basic function of the photo persona, the layers. The best way to understand the nature of the layers is to imagine them as a stack of paper looking at the stack from above. So if one layer lies above another, it hides the layer beneath, so that only the layer at the top is visible. So of course that doesn't sound very helpful at first. So to use several layers in a useful way, you can for example make parts of a layer invisible, so that the layer below gets visible in this area. Or you can change the opacity of a layer to make the content in part invisible. This technique can now be used for different post-processing methods. For example, you can combine elements of different pictures into one picture. You can simply place another picture into our project by clicking File and Place in the upper menu bar. Okay, now each picture here represents a layer. Since pictures are visible elements, these kind of layers are also called pixel layers. In the layer menu on the right you can see the order in which the layers are arranged one above the other. Now imagine the stack of paper I have mentioned a few seconds ago. At first, only the photo on the top of the layer stack is visible. To make certain layer contents invisible, so-called masking layers are used. In the masking layers you can adjust which areas of one or several layers should be visible and which should be invisible. Therefore, different shades of gray are used. White means that everything is visible. When you paint with black color on different areas, these areas get invisible in the layers underneath. If you want to work a little bit more precisely, you can also make selections with other tools like the selection brush. If you now click on the symbol for the masking layer, the unselected area gets automatically colored black and the layers underneath get invisible. But That is of course still not the effect we want to get. We want the masking layer to just impact one single layer. To achieve that, you can attach the masking layer to one single layer by dragging the masking layer into the layer you want to mask. And there we have the effect we want to get. But the layers are not only used to merge different picture elements, likewise you can make corrections to so-called adjustment layers and take advantage of layers and masking there as well. Adjustment layers can be used to make settings similar to those in the Develop Persona workspace I've shown you before. For example, settings for brightness, contrast or white balance. But you also get a few more options which you don't get in the Develop Persona. But most important, in contrast to the Develop Persona, the adjustments here work as separate layers. These layers can then be moved to any position in the Layers panel, so that only the layers below are changed by the adjustment layer. If you only want to apply the adjustment to one certain layer, you can also place the adjustment layer directly into this certain pixel layer. Exactly as we did with the masking layer a few seconds ago. As with pixel layers, we can even use masking layers to adjust just certain areas of a layer. Similar to the adjustment layers, the live filter layers, which can be accessed via this symbol, can be used. With live filter layers, you can, for example, create blur, sharpen your image or create vignettes. By choosing different positions in the Layers panel and using different masking methods, you can adjust which areas of your image should be adjusted by a live filter layer. By the way, there are also normal filters, but they do not have their own layers. To use a normal filter, you first have to select a layer and then select a filter from the menu bar above. This filter is then applied directly to the selected layer and cannot be changed so easily later. In contrast of these normal filters, the advantage of working with layers is that you can easily undo all changes. Simply uncheck the checkbox behind a layer and the layer gets deactivated. You can also go back to adjust a certain layer at any time by simply selecting it with a double click. Okay, that was a lot of information in a very short period of time, so if you haven't understand everything, that's totally normal. For this video I really just wanted to show you the most important features of Affinity Photo very quickly so that you can find your way around the user interface now. But as I've mentioned at the beginning of the video, I will make a lot more videos about Affinity Photo in much more detail, so make sure to subscribe. And if you have any suggestions what I should make videos about, leave a comment down below. Okay, but that's it for this video. I will see you next time. Bye.